afternoon, Scotland! Now, if you thought, oh, have a look, you need a haircut, mate. You need a haircut. Well, yeah, you do. Wow. Go back to work. No, sorry, you haven't got a job, have you? Well, there you are. Those that don't work have plenty of time to come and protest, don't they? I bet you he's not self-employed running his own business, is he? I bet he doesn't understand what government at all levels has put on hard-working people in this country, the highest ever level of taxes during the lowest period of growth, where people work longer hours than they ever had to, and where often their next-door neighbours rise at midday, have Deliveroo come and smoke dope for the afternoon. And you know what? That is exactly what Malcolm was just talking about. We have, frankly, and it's been going on for years, by freezing tax thresholds and much else, by punishing those that are self-employed or run small businesses, we've become a country where work, for many people, frankly, doesn't pay. And we are the party of Alarm Clock Britain. We are the party of people who get up in the morning, go to work, do their bit, pay their taxes, believe in our nation, defend its culture, and frankly, we're all they've got left. I actually can't think of a time when we had a worse Prime Minister than Keir Starmer. The guy is a disaster. And as we go through a period of both national and very extreme international crises, I think the energy crisis should now be the biggest wake-up call that Scotland and the North Sea have ever had. Just think about this. Last year, on the other half of the North Sea, in exactly the same fields, the Norwegians drilled 49 new wells. 49 new wells for gas and oil as part of a projected 250 that they intend to develop over the course of the next few years. How many new wells opened up on our side of the North Sea? 0. And how many will open up this year? 0. We charge 78% super taxes on any profits a prospector makes. We refuse to open up licences, and we are not self-sufficient, which we ought to be in oil and gas. And you know something? We open up the North Sea. We create here in Scotland thousands of well-paid jobs, better revenue for the Exchequer, and with gas, cheaper energy prices for every household and every business in this nation. And yet, we're the only people that can stand and say this, because it was the Conservative government nationally that went down the net zero route. Boris. It's hard not to laugh, isn't it, really? We're going to be the Saudi Arabia of wind. Remember all that? And now we've got Red Ed Miliband and an SNP who, under Alex Salmond, the SNP recognised that oil was a very important strategic asset for Scotland, but they now believe that somehow Chinese-made wind turbines will solve Scotland's future. Through a result of net zero lunacy, we have closed down the North Sea, and we've given ourselves the highest industrial energy prices in the world. And you wonder why the country is deindustrialising. We've learnt today that the last primary steelmaker in the United Kingdom, the last one in Scunthorpe, will now be closing. We will be the only major Western country that does not produce primary steel. Why? Because the energy price is too high. I met Jim Ratcliffe recently. Grangemouth, barely surviving, and yet his firm about to make a £3 billion investment in North America, where his energy price will be a quarter or less of what he's currently paying. We are committing economic harry-carry in the name of saving the planet, when actually what we're doing is exporting carbon emissions for the goods to be made in India and then shipped back to us. And they're all part of it. They're all part of the sameness of Holyrood, aren't they? They all agree. They all agree on net zero. They all agree in their own great virtues. Well, we agree in opening up the North Sea, getting Scotland working again, getting Scotland cheaper energy. And you know what? After this election and all the ones to come, we're the only ones that will deliver good, plain, common sense and a better way of life for everybody. And we are the only people who will stand up and defend British culture. Malcolm mentioned at the end immigration as an issue. There was a myth for years that no one in Scotland cared about immigration. But it's just not true, is it? It's just not true. I mean, not only is Glasgow now the asylum capital of the United Kingdom, but Holyrood have even passed a law in favour of it. They seem to think that you want young men from Afghanistan who come by boat across the English Channel to get privileges that ex-servicemen living rough on the streets of Glasgow can't have. Well, we know where we stand, and we stand with our people, not those who enter Britain illegally. And mass migration. The Boris wave. 3 million people came in under Boris. Now, if they were all accountants or brain surgeons who fully integrated in our culture, we might not have a problem. But guess what? Only 20% of the 3 million came on work permits. Many of the others will never work in this country and live after a brief period on benefits for the rest of their lives. And if they've come from a subcontinent, they've come from a Commonwealth country, they have the right to vote in general elections on day one. And we are now seeing sectarianism have a massive effect on British politics. Now, I put it to you that what happened in Trafalgar Square this week should act as a wake-up call and a warning to everybody. We have always been a country that believes in religious tolerance. We've always been open to those of different faiths, persuasions and beliefs coming to our country and having their own private observance, but integrating public. And I think, to be honest, the Jewish community is probably the best example I can think of that. But mass public praying, mass chanting of Islamic slogans in Trafalgar Square was a shock, until you learn that the same group, the Ramadan Tent Project, have done it in Coventry Cathedral. They've done it in London's Guildhall. They've done it in the Victoria and Albert Museum. Folks, if it hasn't come to Scotland yet, it will come soon. This is an open, deliberate, willful attempt, not at the private observance of a different religion, but the attempt to overtake, intimidate, and dominate our way of life. And it is funded by the taxpayer. £44 million last year of taxpayers' money went to fund projects like this. Now, we are fair, reasonable, tolerant people, but we will not put up with this, and we will, as a party, stand firm for the Christian principles upon which our nation was built. Now, saying that Starmer is the worst Prime Minister in history, Scotland has had a succession of First Ministers from whom it's difficult to pick which was the worst one. What is of no doubt is that Scotland is in a very bad way. The economics, the education, the health delivery, the drug deaths, whichever way we look, we see social decline. And we have to offer young people in Scotland hope, belief that going on benefits is not the way forward, belief that learning proper trades and skills from the age of 16 is the way for so many to succeed, but only by reindustrialising, only by getting cheaper energy, only by beginning to change the culture that exists in too much of lowland Scotland can we achieve these things. And the manifesto that has been put to you today is a bold attempt to make a start at making Scotland competitive again, at making Scotland economically attractive again. And I think Malcolm was very frank when he said it is a 10-year project. You cannot turn around chronic problems like this literally overnight. But goodness me, this is needed. The consensus that has built up in Holyrood around most major policies has frankly made the parties virtually indistinguishable over the course of the last few years. This election is going to be different. And I'll tell you why it's going to be different. It's the fellow sitting over there, who is unafraid to challenge the Holyrood consensus, unafraid to challenge the cosy club that has built up around Holyrood, around the Quangos, around much of the media, around almost the entirety of the political class. He's prepared to stand up on your behalf and challenge all of that. And already we can see with his every pronouncement, they're going potty. Offered derangement syndrome has set in to Scottish politics. Well, all I can say is good. Good because it means it takes the pressure off me. And good because it's high time that somebody dropped a rock in the pool and started a proper debate about what is going wrong in Scotland and what the answers and the solutions may be, offered on your behalf with our candidates. We'll do that over the course of the next 7 weeks, where we will establish a big number in Holyrood. We'll become the official opposition, and who knows? Who knows? If it catches fire, who knows what we might be capable of. So I want to say, my reception in Scotland seems to get better with each year that goes by. There was a moment some years ago when confronted by a bunch of nationalist yobs in the street, all of them with very wide pupils. I could never work out quite why that might have been. And the Edinburgh police locked me in a pub for the afternoon for my safety. How about that? There were a couple of old boys in the corner said it's the best thing's happened to this boozer in 40 years. Scottish politics, up until this point, has been very, very hostile to any other voice. They may go on being hostile to our other voice, but you know something? Now they can't stop us. And I'll be here with you repeatedly, supporting our candidates, supporting Malcolm, supporting this campaign between now and the 7th of May. And I'm pleased and honoured to have been able to join you this afternoon at this manifesto launch. Thank you very much indeed. Let's hold a manifesto up.